Folks, today we're going to talk about how to create a stream of leads for your new home-based business. Now, if you're looking for a new business to get into, we're going to talk about ours a little bit today, but it's more focused on how we actually help you to create a stream of leads for your business. I founded the company 26 years ago with my wife, Linda. We started doing medical billing right out of our home here in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. And we built the business to the point where people were asking us, how did you do it? How are you buying new cars and homes and all these things without leaving your home? And they thought we were selling drugs, out of the back alley or something. But the point is, we were making pretty good money and people wanted to know how we did that. So I developed a whole training session based on that. Remember, 26 years ago, there were people doing medical billing, but not many at that time. And not many people knew how to actually go out and get clients and show the doctors the advantages of outsourcing their billing to them. So that's what we started doing. I'm also a best-selling author. You can go check me out if you want to see if I'm for real on Amazon, or any local bookstore might have some of these books here that you see on the screen. And I'll be talking about that middle one, the new thriving medical practice that I co-authored with a doctor, Dr. Vicki Rackner, a little bit later in the webinar today. I'm also on the editorial board of a magazine called Billing and Coding Advantage, BC Advantage. Now, that's been in print now for many, many years, has over 40,000 subscribers. Yes, it's still in print. It goes in the mail, and it's just such a valuable tool that anybody who's anybody in the medical billing coding industry subscribes to that. I also have articles that appear in that on a regular basis as well. I'm also the co-founder of an organization called the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. And that is a huge, in fact, it's the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies that are out there. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along as well. Sam's asking, can non-licensees subscribe to BC Advantage? Yes, you can just go to their billing. I think the website for that, Sam, is billing-coding.com. I think that's their website. Just go out there and you'll find how you can subscribe to that magazine as well. Okay. So what is American Business Systems? What do we do? Why do we do it? Well, first of all, we were doing medical billing back in the, late 80s, early 90s, my wife and I, and that was based on doing things with software that resided on our computer hard drive. Ooh, is that a no-no nowadays, folks? You don't want any software or patient data on your computer. If you buy from a company that doesn't have a true, fully cloud-based system like we have, you could be in some serious trouble with HIPAA, breaking all kinds of rules and regulations nowadays. So our cloud-based system allows you to access our billing system, and for the doctor to access the electronic medical record system you see there, EMRX, from any device anywhere in the world that has an internet connection. It can be a tablet, a computer, Windows, Apple, it doesn't matter, Chromebook, it can be a phone, any kind of phone, of course, that's connected to the internet. And it's a great way to run your business from anywhere in the world, as long as you have. Yes, I have people who go to Hawaii for a month and just run their business right there, working in their hotel room or from the beach. And by the way, speaking of those people, I've done over 100 interviews now with people from coast to coast who've gone through our training, who've started their business, who've been very successful in their business and are willing to talk to me about that and answer questions about it. So if you haven't seen some of those interviews, you can go back to our blog on our website. You see it there at the bottom of the screen, absystems.com. Go to news and then blog, and you'll see, if you go back in time on that page, just keep going back to the previous pages, you'll see lots and lots of interviews there. And it's also on our YouTube channel, which I'll tell you about that a little bit later. All right, so let's get to the subject today, how to create a stream of leads for your new home-based business. By the way, we may have a guest showing up here today, my compadre, Eric Auger, who's been with us now for about 12 years here at ABS, is actually doing some work where he's had to be out of the office today, but he said he might just pop in here during this webinar. So we'll be looking for him. Okay, so let's see, I think I'm going the right way here. How come I'm not going forward? Sometimes here we go. So here's the first thing you need to do in any business, ours especially, but in any business, you want to position yourself as the expert. Now, here's what I mean by that. There's lots of ways we teach you to do that. One of the ways we do it is through our training. And I'm going to go into depth as to why we teach this. But folks, in today's world, I don't want to do business with anybody. Nobody. that's not an expert in what they do. Now, how are you, who maybe has no background whatsoever, which, by the way, that's true of most of our licensees, our business owners that purchase our license, they don't have any experience in the background in the medical field, especially in medical billing. So how do you become the expert? Well, you become the expert the way we've taught many, many people, hundreds of people from coast to coast, how to do that. And that is through our training. Folks, we have regular training sessions for our licensees. Once you become a licensee with ABS and pay our initial licensing fee, it's kind of like a franchise fee. Once you've paid that upfront cost, there is nothing you ever spend on that ongoing training. We do those trainings a couple of times a month right here from our offices in Dallas, Fort Worth, and all of our licensees are invited to all of those training sessions. They're on 100 different topics, but the point is, that's how you become the expert, is let us teach you enough about this. Look, I've always heard, folks, if you want to be the expert in any field, name the topic that you want to be the expert in, all you have to do is read about 5 books that are on that particular topic. And you will be the expert. You'll know more than 99% of everybody else in the world on that topic. Well, that's how we make our licensees the experts in medical billing, and that's by teaching them on a regular basis everything there is to know. Now, once you become a licensee, you also have access to our private website, which you're looking at right there on the screen, by the way, that has a getting started section, services, marketing tools, resources. All of that's available to our licensees. And folks, there's over 100 hours of training on that website. You'll have immediate access to that as soon as you go through the first initial training modules, which are done live with a live certified instructor, which again, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But how do you, as in any business, become the expert? Just find 5 books on your topic. And if you don't have books on your particular business, let's say you're in the Subway sandwich business, then you learn everything you can from Subway and maybe visit some other Subway owners and pick their brains and find out everything you can about that. Now, once you've gone through our training, of course, we position you as the expert by giving you a certification. I say we're actually doing this in conjunction with the organization I mentioned earlier, the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. You see that down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the certificate. This is the organization that actually certifies you as a medical revenue manager. See, folks, we don't just teach you how to do medical billing. We're teaching you exactly how to become a revenue manager. That is, you manage all aspects of the medical revenue in a medical office. And there's a lot of aspects to that. You can think of it as, well, I'm doing the billing for doctors for the, to get most of his money in, but there's lots of other places that you can help the doctor with their revenue as well. So we start with that certification that comes after you've gone through the 8 modules. They're from 60 to 90 minutes per module, if you're wondering, and you can get all that completed in the first 30 days. Yeah, you can be completely certified in 30 days with our training. And then you have access to all the other things on the website that I showed you earlier. Now, this is just telling you a little bit here about the fact that the Medical Revenue Management Association has a website. You'll see it right up here at the top. Again, it's MIRMA.org, not com, but org. It's an organization. Again, the world's largest network of medical billing companies, owners. And as you can see, our goal with that organization is to help physicians in private practice to get off the hamster wheel, work smarter, not harder, and generate more revenue and enjoy a greater career satisfaction. So go check that out if you want to find out more about that organization. By the way, you want to check out the page that says about our National Advisory Board and find out a lot of the people that are helping us to build that organization from coast to coast. CEOs and trainers and instructors from all across the United States. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we're going to position you as the expert. How do we do that? We give you training in subject matter, specific subject matter in this industry, so that you can talk intelligently to the office managers and the doctors that you come in contact with. Now, one of the ways we do that is we position you as the expert by helping you to be a part of the books that we have available for the doctors. These are books that you can use in your marketing to the doctors, and they're all a part of our license. Once you purchase our license, which gives you access to the cloud-based system, of course, and all of our training and support, we also allow you to be a co-author on some of these books that you see here. Now, here's what I mean by that. Look at the very bottom of this particular cover of this book. This is the New Thriving Medical Practice that I mentioned earlier. You see where it says forward by Susan Smith, CMRM. Well, you've already learned what that means, Certified Medical Revenue Manager. And Susan, you see, has written the foreword to this book. Now, in reality, we have a generic foreword. We have many licensees who write their own foreword, but we have a very generic one that you can put your name to. And once you do that, of course, your name then is in the book. It's on the cover, as you can see there on the left. It's on the title page right here underneath my name and Dr. Vicki Ragner. And then over here at the end of the foreword, you see Susan Smith's contact information. Imagine the power of handing a book. Now, this book sells for $24.95 on Amazon. That's because doctors give credence to books that cost a lot of money. Just like they give credence to a car that has a particular symbol on the hood that really is not any better than a regular car, but they pay a whole lot more money for that car. Same way with books. So even though it sells for $24.95, you'll see it out there on Amazon. You purchase this book from us. Well, we give you an initial supply of these books, but you get you can reorder them if you want more of them at $4 a piece. Now, folks, I know that's find that hard to believe, but it's personalized with your information like you see here at $4. It's about a 200-page book. It's a paperback book. It's wonderful for giving out. Think of it as a little more expensive than a regular business card. But imagine the power of this book with your name right there on the cover with a doctor. Now, here's what happens. Psychologically, any doctor that you give this book to and say, hey, there's some information in here that I can help you with. If you need help, let me know. And when they see your name right there on the cover of the book with a doctor's name, they think that you've co-authored the book. You haven't, of course. It just says you've written the foreword of the book, but because of the way the foreword is written, it makes you a partner with Dr. Vicki Ragner. Now, we've had Dr. Ragner on some of our webinars. You'll see if you look backward on our blog, some of those interviews and our YouTube channel, and you'll find out a little bit more about her. But the point is, folks, she is partnering with our licensees and becomes your partner in this business. Nothing will give you more power as an expert than being a partner with a doctor, and that's what we do for you. Okay, how else do we position yourself as the expert? Now, folks, all of these tips that I'm giving you applies to any business that's out there. You could write your own book and self-publish it on Amazon nowadays. If you want to become an expert, that's one way to do it. Be sure and get your name on the cover of a book. But we've already written the book for you, and all you have to do is put your name on it. Then we do what are called educational webinars. Now, folks, just like this one that you're seeing today, a webinar is just a live event like this one is, where we actually show information, teach people. It's informative, it's educational, and of course, it's live. In our case, we take questions. You don't have to, but we open up the question box there for people to type things in. I don't see any questions in there, so I'm not sure that you're all hearing the sound of my voice right now, but it'd sure be good if somebody typed something in there and said, yes, we hear you, Patrick. We have not fallen asleep. Okay, here's some questions coming in now. Good. So anyway, the point is that a webinar can include live questions like this as well. And Tammy, I'll get to your question here in just a second. But let me talk about these webinars, because for a lot of people, it's scary to think that, oh, I've got to learn how to use this technology. Folks, this is the easiest thing in the world to do. And there are webinars on how to do webinars that teach you all of this that we'll point you to. But the point is that by giving a webinar, you position yourself in your community as the expert. How many companies do you know that actually give webinars? I mean, things like medical billing companies, or even a termite pest control company, for example, yard care. Anybody could be doing webinars. It's not that expensive to do a webinar. Literally, you can have your own account with GoToWebinar and do something for like $49 a month. As many webinars as you want. You can record them. You can post the recordings on your website, just like we do. It's a wonderful way to market, folks, and we're going to teach you exactly how to do that. But more than that, we're going to do webinars for you. Yes, you heard me correct. As part of your license, as part of MIRMA, the organization that I've mentioned a couple of times, we have Myrma do the webinars for our licensees. This is just one of them that you see here. The topic was how to guarantee HIPAA success within your practice. But we've got a dozen other topics that we can do for you as licensees. And the way we do that is we do a generic webinar that has no mention of us or any particular licensee's name, of course. And at the end of the webinars, we point them back to the person who invited them to the webinar. If you want to know more about this topic, get back with the person who invited you. And of course, we'll teach you how to follow up with those people via email to get back with them and set up some appointments to do some what we call practice analysis. So, okay, Trudy, thank you. She's just feeding back here that she can hear me now. Okay, Tammy is asking a couple of questions here, so I'm going to address those right while I've got them here on the screen. Does ABS provide a pipeline report, or does a licensee create their own to track their prospective clients and clients and prospects? Yes, Tammy, we're going to show you how to do that. Now, remember, we don't provide anything for you that we don't teach you how to do, because we believe in teaching people how to fish, not just fishing for them. We're going to teach you how to fish. We're going to teach you how to create your own follow-up systems for your licensees. And I think that's what you're asking there. She also asked how many books are provided upon the licensee sign up. There's 30 books in total, Tammy. We've got 2 different books that we let you put your name on. So 30 to start with, but then you can order those again at $4 a copy once you've run out of them. Some people don't even need more than the 30 to get their first client. Okay, let me see. Well, here's the second way that you can do it. So first, let me go back, folks. I don't know that I know how to do that with the right keys here, but let me see if I can get it this way. Okay, where am I? Right here? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so position yourself as an expert, folks, in any business. I want to do business with people who seem to know what they're talking about, don't you? Look, if I have an insurance person approach me about buying insurance, life insurance or health insurance, I want to believe that that person is expert. I want to deal with the realtor who I feel like is the best, smartest, most knowledgeable realtor in the area. And that's why we teach you how to do those things. Okay, so the second thing that you can do, though, to build your business is to have your clients or prospects find you online. Now, you may have already guessed that that's the way you build some businesses. You may not have guessed that this is one of them, because we use LinkedIn, we use Facebook, we show you how to use Google My Business to actually get the doctors to find you online. And I've interviewed licensees who've said that the only way they got clients, some of them who've built, have dozens of clients, the only way they did it was through building their presence online. Now, how do you do that if you don't know anything about these things? Well, it's through the educational webinars that we do for our licensees. We teach you how to use LinkedIn and Facebook and Google My Business and anything else that's out there that is a digital way of reaching out to your prospects. And one of the ways we do that is to provide for you, as a part of your license, your own website. Now, you can see some of the templates that we have here that you can choose from. They all have the same information behind them, but graphically, some people, like to look a little different there. So we've created some templates that you can pick from. Let me go to one of those. Now, I have to pause this just for a second to make sure that I'm showing the right thing. I think I want to go over here to my Safari browser. Okay, now you should be looking at one of those website templates. This is just a fake company name here, ABC Solutions. We just stuck that on there to kind of give you a feel for it. Notice at the top it says we're part of the nation's largest network of medical offices, medical billing offices, medical revenue management offices. And as you can see, it has menus here. You can actually go from here to anything, sliding down here. You'll see it talks about our iClaim medical billing system. You want the doctors to see a little bit about that. This is our auto card. Let me click on a couple of those. You'll see that they go to pages that talk about that particular topic. There's iClaim. Let me go back and click on auto card. This is our automatic marketing system for doctors to help them increase appointments. And so as you can see, it's a fully cloud-based website that's developed for you. We put your name and logo at the top. And on the contact us page, of course, we have your information there as well on the side here. So and then we connect you through an email so that anything people type in here comes right to your email. It's a wonderful way, folks, to get started in business. And we are the only company that I know of that gives you that advantage of getting you kicked off with your own website without having to spend, $3,000 to $5,000 on your own website. All right, let me get back to my slides here. Okay. So have the doctors find you online. That is step number 2, or what I think of as the next step. Ooh, I think I just clicked out of that. Let me stop that just for a second. I somehow clicked the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. Now we're back, are we? Okay. Now, step number 3 for getting a steady stream of clients for your new home-based business. One of the ways is to get other people to introduce you to doctors. Now, we're giving you a little behind the scenes, open up the curtain and let you see behind the scenes what we teach as far as how to market this, because that's the big question in a lot of people's minds. How in the world am I going to convince doctors to sign up with me? Well, folks, there's no convincing, there's no selling. In fact, I tell people, if you have a background in sales, forget about 99% of what you know. It does not work. Believe me, after 26 years, I spent thousands of dollars figuring out what does not work. And now we teach exactly what is actually working in the field today. Yes, your certified instructor for your training sessions, your initial training, is a licensee that's operating their own business. And they do that so that they can stay in touch with what's going on. You're learning from somebody who knows what actually works in today's world. And yes, things have changed here with the pandemic. There are different ways to market than you would have prior to this. So we adapt with the times. This is why we've stayed in business for 26 years, folks. Believe me, there are companies like ours that were training people on how to do medical billing that just went out of business completely because they didn't keep up with the times. We do that because we also make money on the back end as well, not from you, but from the fees that the doctors pay. We make money on that each month as well. So that's how we can continue to improve, train you for no extra cost. It's all built into our system. And let's see, I think I'm seeing another question here. Let me zoom in here so I can see this. Okay. Are there licensees, this is from Sam, are there licensees who couldn't make your system work? It looks foolproof. Well, Sam, yes, I'm going to be honest with you. There are people who've been through our training and it just didn't work for them. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that they tried their own thing. They tried to reinvent the wheel. They didn't believe that our system worked because maybe they had a background in business or even sales of some kind, and they tried their own thing. And that's why I'm telling you that you have to be able to follow a system. That's why we call ourselves American Business Systems. If you follow our system, it'll work for you. If you don't, it won't. That's just that simple. Now, can we help those people? Yes, we've had many of them come back to us. And you'll see on some of the interviews that I've done, I've interviewed licensees who've said, Patrick, I didn't think you guys knew as much as I did. I tried my own thing. It did not work. After 3, 4, 6 months, I came back to you and your support people got me on track, and then I started building my business. So it only works if you work it. And if you don't follow the system, then Sam, it doesn't work. Just like in any business, there's always a group of people who you just can't teach them everything you need to know. You can't, just like you can't fool 100% of the people all the time, you can't make 100% of the people as successful as you'd like to see them be. And those who are the most successful are the ones who followed our training. Now, what do we mean by online network? Well, folks, there are ways nowadays to connect with people in your community online that know doctors. Now, I'm going to give you a little insight here that you may think, oh gosh, that sounds like that wouldn't work. But one of the ways we teach you is to network with your own warm market. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean the people that you know, your own warm market, friends, relatives, people at your current job, people at church or synagogue. There are people that you know, all of them know doctors, and some of them will immediately say to you, if you tell them what you do for doctors, they'll say, you know what, my doctor is having trouble. I know they mentioned that they'd like to get into electronic health records and they're too scared. They don't know which way to go. They don't have anybody to guide them. or they've used an outside billing company that just hasn't collected the money for them, we can show you how to get in touch with those people through your market. One of the licensees that I interviewed, Janet Malinowski, says that when she got back from our training, finished it, she sent out 200 letters to people that she knew in her community, and she got her first client from that first mailing. It was just somebody who said, my doctor, I think, needs your help. I'll tell them that you're going to contact them. And they did, and they signed them up. So there is a way to do that. Now, there's not just your warm market, of course. We're going to teach you how to reach out to some of the organizations that are out there, and we'll introduce you to all these different groups online that can get you connected to other people. Now, here's what we mean by that. When I say other people, folks, we're looking for what we call power partners who target medical practices, but they don't compete with you. In other words, you wouldn't want to power partner with another medical billing company, right? That wouldn't make sense because they're after the same clients that you're after. You want people who want doctors as their clients. Now, can you think of anybody that falls in that category? Well, we give you a whole list of those types of people that are out there. I'll give you a hint. What if you knew a financial advisor? Do financial advisors want to have doctors as clients? Yes. And do they already have maybe a dozen doctors already? Yes. Well, you can partner with those people. We'll show you exactly how to do that. And then those people introduce you to those doctors. Why do they do that? Because you're going to help them. Once you get some clients too, you're going to introduce them to your clients. So it's a mutual way of building a business together. And there are a dozen different types of power partners that we'll talk about in our training, specifically how do you get in touch with them and how do you get those people to introduce you to their doctors. All right, so now folks, that applies of course to any business, not just to doctors of course, but you could have other power partners in any business. If you knew how to do that networking with those other people, you could find clients for any business. How do you become an educational marketer? Well, one thing you need to know, let this sink in folks, that connecting with doctors is based on two things. Number one, relationships. That's why we teach you to have other people introduce you to that doctor, because once that happens, all of a sudden there's an immediate relationship there. It's a third-party relationship with that person who introduced you to the doctor, but that's a real thing, right? You always look for people who know other people, and that's how we build any business or relationships in life. So building those relationships is important. We're going to teach you exactly how to do that. And number two, trust. People do not do business with people they don't trust. So how do you build trust? Well, it's very simple. You educate them. Look, by educating you today and on these previous webinars that you may have attended, hasn't this helped you to realize that you can trust me, or at least Eric, and other people who do these webinars with us, Dr. Vicki Ratner, for example? You learn to trust us because we are educating you. So how do you do that in today's world? It's real simple. You have all the tools you need to do that. We run our business completely virtual, folks. We used to have a local office right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We decided when the pandemic, well, it was actually back the last year, 2019, we decided we wanted to go completely virtual because a lot of our support people, our coaches, our instructors were in different parts of the country anyway. They didn't need an office. And we only had a half a dozen people here in this local office. So we decided to have everybody work from home. We gave them the right computers, the tools, all the software they needed is online in the cloud. And we run our business completely virtual. We're going to teach you how to do that so that you can educate your clients, your prospective clients, through a lot of different ways. I mentioned earlier the books. Folks, this is probably the best way you can educate people. Now, let me give you an example. You see that middle book there. I interviewed a licensee just a few weeks back. His name is Dan Elliott. You can look for that on our blog. Dan Elliott gave out, during this pandemic, this was back in March, I think, gave out 3 of those books. Now, we teach you exactly how to do this. I'm going to show that here in a second. You don't just hand the book to a doctor or mail it to them without a specific way of helping them to realize they don't have to read the whole thing. But it teaches them to get into it and question whether or not they're doing everything they need to be doing to thrive in their private practice. And by giving out those 3 books, actually he just mailed it. He said he mailed the 3 books out to doctors that he wanted to target, specific types of doctors. There are a lot of specialties out there. We'll show you how to zero in on the specialties that you really need to focus on that can make you the most money. He sent those 3 books out and got calls from all 3 of those doctors. How did they know to call him? Because he put a personal note inside with the book that said, you know, here's some things I think could help you in your practice. Please give me a call if there's anything that I can do to help you, and I'll give you a free practice analysis or something to that effect. Then, of course, his name and phone numbers in the book, so they knew how to reach him. He's already signed up one of those doctors when we interviewed him back several weeks ago, and said the other 2 he thought were going to sign up, but that he had appointments to go talk to him at least. So this is a wonderful way. It positions you as the expert, and you're educating them, because once they see what's in this book, they realize that you know what you're talking about. Here's another book that we use called The 10 Critical Questions for Physicians in Private Practice, and the single choice that can help your practice to prosper and grow. Now, this one's by Dr. Ragnar. The foreword is by my son, Adam, but the point is that on this book, we let you put your name and contact information right on the back cover, right along with Dr. Vicki Ragnar's little blurb on the back of the book there. But we're going to teach you how to go through our books and highlight certain passages. This is one of the pages from that book, for example. By just highlighting a few things, when you give it to the doctor or mail it to them, they realize that they don't have to read the whole thing. But some of these things jump out. For example, this one says, doctor maintained control over his billing. He insisted that he maintain control. His perception was that he was in control of billing by keeping it in-house. And so the doctor who reads this, if they are already outsourcing it, having their staff do the billing, they'll probably think, well, maybe I ought to consider this too, because as you can see, it says it was only when he outsourced his billing that he got control over his finances. So that's how the doctors get control, is by outsourcing it to somebody like you who knows what they're doing and can collect it for them. Now, again, here's a little peek behind the window, behind the curtain. We teach you in our training to actually mark those highlighted passages in the books with little sticky tabs. You've seen these little plastic sticky tabs that you can stick on any page in the book. When you send it to the doctor or hand it to them, you're giving him a book that is kind of unusual, right? It's like the doctor looks at that and immediately he's going to turn to some of those sticky notes and see that there's highlighted passages. That's probably what they will read first. They'll go through every one of those tabs and read those highlighted passages. That's all it takes for them to realize that you know what you're talking about, or at least Dr. Vicki and I do. We wrote the book, you wrote the foreword to the book, so you must be a part of our team, right? So this is what it looks like when a doctor opens the book. There's the tab, there's the little quote that we wanted him to jump to, and once they've read that, that might interest them in this whole chapter. They might think, oh gosh, well, there might be a lot of good little tips in here. They've only highlighted, what, a dozen different pages here. I might read the whole book if they have time. Believe me, right now they have a lot of time because they're not seeing as many patients as they were before the COVID happened.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Eric, is that you?
It is.
Hey, by the way, this is one of the busiest times for us and our licensees in all of our history. I mean, things are just happening out there. Doctors need more help than ever, right?
Absolutely.
So I was just showing them the book here and how they can mark the book up there. Also, we teach them how to mail that out in a special way. You want to talk about this, Eric?
Yeah, you know, folks, whenever you're mailing stuff out, obviously you're going to want to know that that doctor's actually opening something. And Patrick, who doesn't want to ever receive something in the mail from the doctors or to the doctor? And we get it. And I think you kind of call that kind of squishy mail, you know, poofy mail where they go, oh, something's in here. Yeah. That's where you're putting that book there. And it works very, very well at getting it in the hands of the doctor. You know, I think you call it, you know, actually getting past the glass for that doctor's office.
That's right. Even if it comes to the doctor, addressed to the doctor themselves, and even if the office manager gets it, they're not going to throw that away. They're probably not going to open it. It looks too important. They're going to put, because it will, as you can see, it says private and confidential right there on the envelope. So, and they can feel that there's a book in there. So they'll just lay it on the doctor's desk along with the bills and other stuff that they give to him. And when the doctor opens it, of course, it's from you, again, with your personalized note. There's lots of different envelopes that we'll show you how you can obtain those and use those for these mailouts. But that's how Dan Elliott, I just told him, Eric, about him sending out 3 of those books and already signed up one of those doctors and has meetings with the other 2. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just what you think of when you first hear these things. You might think, oh, you just mail a book to the doctor. What's going to get him to open it and read it? And how do we get past, the gatekeeper? Well, as you can see, we have ways of doing all that. Sam's asking us specific questions about the licensees in his area. Sam, I'm not sure about that, of course, because I don't have the database open in front of me, but one of our ABS reps here at the office can do that for you, or your. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sam. I knew that you were a female. I've been referring to you, I think, as he, but you were on here last week and I saw that. Yeah, but yes, you can get back with your ABS rep and they can actually look that up and tell you about the licensees. We do have licensees, of course, all over the country, but Eric, we have never found any licensees who've been thinking that they had too many licensees in the area because there's just too many doctors, right? They only need a handful of doctors to make a 6-figure income. So what are there here in the DFW area? 20,000 medical providers?
Yeah, you're right. And Patrick, the question that they're asking is really what is the saturation market or saturation for other licensees stepping on top of other licensees? And what you're going to find, folks, that are in the big metropolis type cities, whether it's New York or Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Phoenix, you got so many outlying areas that people say, well, where are you from? Well, I'm from Dallas, but you find out that they're from, Plano or Midlothian or Weatherford or something like that. And so what you're going to do, you're going to work your area. And so even though there may be some other licensees in a vicinity where you might be living, if you just drew like a 5-mile radius from your place, your house or place of business, you're probably not going to be running across any other ABS licensee. And, Patrick, you've been at this for 26 years. And I think I know for the 12 years that I've been working with you, I can only remember one time where there was actually 2 licensees marketing the same doctor, but then they joined forces and got the doctor together. So there you go.
Yeah, and here's what happens, folks. In reality, even though we might have a dozen licensees in the DFW area because it's a huge marketing area, right? It probably goes out 40 miles in any direction. You think if your market is a little bit bigger than your neighborhood, of course, it's not like a Subway sandwich shop that has a 2-mile radius for clients. You have a huge market that you can reach out there. In fact, you can sign up doctors in other states, and many of our licensees have done that. When they get a referral from one doctor to another doctor that's in another state, they just do it all online, through the internet and the phone. But the point is that most people will go out and get their first, let's say, half a dozen clients, and they're making enough money, they're putting in all the time they want to put in, and they don't market anymore because they don't need to. They've got plenty of revenue. That's what happens, and that's why even though there might be a dozen licensees, there may be only 1 or 2 who are doing any sort of active marketing. Now, nationwide, we have about 450 licensees that are basically what we call active. That is, they've got clients and they're doing billing, but that doesn't mean that they're continuing to find new clients because some of them don't want to build it that big. We've got licensees, Eric. We've got licensees that have over 100, right? Licensee clients.
And one more point to that, and you may have already mentioned this earlier in the webinar, but even though you might be in a specific area, that doctor might, if you get a doctor here locally, that doctor may lead you to bill for a doctor in Florida or California. So it just doesn't matter really where you are. You're going to be able to market just about anything. And getting to those locations is right where you are right now about automating your marketing with sales reps. I mean, that could literally, Patrick's already kind of talked to you about getting your strategic partnerships and power partners. One of those might be a sales rep. And if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, Sam, and you've got one in Chicago, you may end up getting a doctor in Chicago because of an acquaintance that you have there with the sales rep.
I forget who it was, Eric, but I did interview a licensee who said they had 15 clients. And I said, well, how many of them are out of state? And they said, well, all of them. Because their very first one was a referral from a relative in another state. and they got in contact with that doctor, and because it was a referral, that doctor signed up online, sight unseen. They let us do the demo. We do live demos of our system for your prospective doctors. So we did the demo for them, answered all their questions. The licensee sent them the contract. They signed up, and boom, they had their first client there. Then that doctor in that city referred another doctor in that city, and it just grew from there. It's just incredible how big your market is. The entire United States. Look at a map of the United States. That's your market.
There you go.
Now, Eric mentioned this slide that you see here, the automate your marketing with sales reps. When we say automate, I mean, think about this, folks. If we could show you how to find and train and hire a sales rep who would go out and get you all the clients you wanted on a complete straight commission basis, you don't pay them anything until they find a client. How automated is that, Eric? That's they just bring you the contract and say, here's a client. I just signed this client up. So
and what's good about that, and boy, here's the picture that what you were just showing and talking about.
Yeah, your whole United States is and so you could be in one part of the United States over here, what is that, Maine or somewhere up north, and then your sales rep could be in California. It doesn't matter because you can sign up and do billing for doctors in the entire United States. That includes Hawaii and Alaska, of course. We can't do billing in Canada or Mexico or any other country. It's all just United States. But folks, there's 500,000 doctors in the United States. So you've got a big territory there. So we not only teach you how to find those sales reps that are out there, some of them already calling on doctors, for example. All you have to do is give them the training materials that we provide you to teach them about our system. Good sales rep will know how to sign up with the clients. We teach you how to interview those people, how to hire them, how to train them, and of course how to pay them. Again, I mentioned that earlier. It's on a commission basis only, because that's how good sales reps like to work, isn't it, Eric?
Commission. Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, Patrick, let's kind of just chat about this real quickly. You know, people think, how long do I need to pay a sales rep on a commission? Well, that can be obviously between you and that sales rep. But again, kind of going back to what Patrick said earlier about you know, creating those power partners. Sometimes your sales reps, all they can do is make an introduction for you to a doctor. So that's always the best, because now you're just having to pay them a finder's fee instead of a long-term commission. So that might be a way to be thinking about how you might want to work this. But if you're going to pay a sales rep, you're going to want to do it over a period of time, and then let that kind of run out to, you know, small percentages, because you want to keep those sales reps continually going out and hopefully getting you some new business there as well. But you know, on our online training that we have here, which is Superior, you know, that particular instructor will talk with you very specifically on these 5 things: how to find them, interview them, hire, train them, and they're going to give you all the different scenarios about how to actually pay that sales rep.
Yes, they go into detail about that. Like Eric said, sometimes you pay them an upfront fee as a part of the setup fee that the doctor pays you. You can give them a portion of that. And then you can also give them an ongoing percentage as the billing goes on for a certain period of time. Sometimes people limit it to a year, or sometimes, Eric, I've heard people say that they will pay that license, that sales rep on any particular doctor's billing as long as they continue bringing new clients to them every 6 months or so.
Sure.
So they continue that gives the sales rep an incentive to continue bringing new business to them. Okay, Kevin is asking a great question here. He says, will the market grow in the years to come? Kevin, if this market doesn't grow, I don't know what's going to grow. This particular industry is growing because as long as there's human beings that get sick, that have to go to a doctor, the doctor has to get paid. Somebody has to bill somebody for the doctor to get paid. So there will always be a need for somebody to help the doctor. Now, some doctors think that it is better to keep it in-house, that it's cheaper. We have ways of showing the doctor where it can cost them a lot less to pay you to do it. Why? Because you can collect more money. It's all about the bottom line, right? And we show you how to teach the doctor about that. Oh, free leads. Eric, let's talk about free leads. This
You
is
know,
something people ask us about all the time. I guess some companies out there are saying that they can provide people a list of doctors.
yeah, whenever I was building this particular slide deck, I wanted to, many times in the past, we've kind of talked about this towards the beginning, but I actually wanted to kind of end with this one because, again, I think leaving that information of talking about leads, because that seems so appealing to you when you're trying to make a decision. Because I'll tell you why, you're about to spend, your hard-earned money in starting a business, and one of the things you're thinking about, how quickly can I get my return on investment? So Patrick, everybody and everybody should be thinking that, but I think we do people a disservice, and other people do people a disservice when they say, oh, well, if you buy our package, what you're going to get with our package is this list of all these doctors. And you go, oh, great, I got this list of doctors. And then you're going to find out that those doctors are not interested in you at all.
Right. They haven't been right. They haven't been pre-contacted by anybody. They're
Right.
not ready to meet with you or buy anything from you. They're just from a database. Folks, we'll show you where to find those public databases that are out there that have the names, phone numbers, addresses, a lot of good information about doctors are out there available to anybody. So there's nothing special about those. So we just don't we don't suggest that you focus in on a lead list at all. Now, we will tell you about the best specialties for you to go after and how to find those specialists in your area. Those are the ones that can make you the most money. Not every doctor will make you as much money. Let's say a cardiac specialist who does operations on people's hearts. They could charge thousands of dollars, right, for a procedure, whereas maybe a chiropractor only charges $75 for a visit. So there are some that you should focus in on. We'll teach you exactly how to find those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides
Patrick,
that,
I was going to say, I don't see a handout. You mind if I go ahead and print that handout and pull it over into the handout area while we're kind of wrapping this up here?
I did forget that, Eric. Thank you. What he's talking about, Eric's going to print out this PowerPoint as a PDF file, and he'll put it in the little section over there on your control panel called handouts. So give him just a second there, and I'll tell you when I see it over here, Eric, too. He's going to upload that. These are all these slides that you'll be able to download here before we're finished.
Great.
By the way, if you just contact a doctor based on a leads list of something, they'll consider you as a like a cold call salesperson, and believe me, you will not get in to see that doctor. But if you approach the doctors using our proven methods of marketing that we've learned over 26 years, they will consider you an educational resource. As we taught you earlier, that's one of the keys there is being the educator. They'll love getting stuff from you in the mail. We're going to show you how to automate a follow-up system with those doctors to keep your name in front of them and continue to educate them throughout the months. Sometimes the doctors are not ready to switch their billing when they first hear from you, but if you stay in contact, like we teach you, and do the follow-up correctly, some of them will reach out to you later on. Anthony's asking, where do you find the sales reps? Well, Anthony, again, we don't have time to go into that in detail today, although we have on previous webinars, but I'll give you a hint. I mentioned earlier that you want to refer to your warm market. That's one of the ways we do this, is to teach you how to teach your contacts that you already know that you've started a business, you're looking for a sales rep, and then we'll teach you how to actually share that with some of those online network groups that are out there as well. That's the way you'll do it, and they'll introduce you to those sales reps. There are places that you can advertise for sales reps as well, and we'll teach you where those are, again, in our training as well. Those are things that we go into in pretty heavy depth. So again, it's just not enough time in this hour to do that. Let's see. Shamka says, I don't see the handout icon. What does it look like? Well, on the control panel over there, folks, I can't show that to you because it's not able to show you the panel itself, but it just says the word handouts. There should be something about, I don't know, audio and chat and handouts and polls. I don't know what all's showing on your screen there, but it's one of those little gray bars there probably. You have to hit that little triangle next to it to open that up. Okay, let's see. I'm just looking at the time here. Wow, we are almost at the end of the hour.
Yeah.
And so, folks, I'm just going to wrap it up here by telling you a little bit about our business. If you want to stay on here and ask some more questions, we will address all the questions that come in. We just don't leave you hanging. When you attend these webinars, you can ask any question you want to. Some of them will point you back to your ABS rep that sent you the email that invites you to the webinar, but we'll continue to answer those questions as we go through there.
So Patrick, I just for everybody's attention, that PDF is over there in the handout. So if you'll go look in your control panel, look with your eyes, kind of scroll down a little bit. You'll see in the handout there's a PDF out there, the slide deck. So we got that taken care of.
Let's see if anybody sees it.
Kevin
okay,
says,
yes.
There it is. He sees it.
Yeah, Kevin says there it is. All right. So he just hadn't uploaded it, I guess, when you first looked for it there, folks.
Yeah, got it.
Shamika says, I don't think we see that on our bar, but other people are finding it. So it's there somewhere. Keep looking for that. Oh, and here's one from Tammy, says the PDF just popped up. Thank you.
Sam's got it.
Yeah. All right, Sam is asking.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Oh, I see those. Yeah. Does your training help us with things like hiring staff, the admin of running the business? Yes, Sam. That's part of our training to you, is to help you to know where to find help. That is, people who could help you with the medical billing itself. Because after you've done a few hundred claims, you may get tired of it and say, well, you know what? For $12, $15 an hour, I can hire somebody to do this, and you'll still make a lot of money by hiring somebody to do the actual billing itself, and you'll just oversee them. Again, because it's a cloud-based system, you'll be able to do that online and check what they're doing and even train them online if you need to. Yeah. Brenda says, thank you, received it. Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about our guarantee for just a second, folks. I don't know of any company that does this, Eric. Do you?
No, I don't. I mean, this is a big thing here because, again, and I'm gonna speak for Patrick, and then Patrick can obviously speak for himself. But it's very gracious that CEO of a company will allow you to make that purchase, do that purchase agreement, turn your money in, and then go through that week or 2 weeks of training. And then at the end of that, you think of that as almost you're evaluating, you're still evaluating. And then at the end of that training, you feel like it's not right for you, you got a 100% money back guarantee. I think, Patrick, that's more than fair than I've ever seen with any business opportunity or franchise out there.
I don't know of another company that does this. There may be, but I've never seen it. If you go to the franchise websites, for example, you can look and ask questions to your blue in the face, and nobody will say, you mean you want to go through our training? You pay us the license fee, go through the training, and then if you don't like it, get your money back? No, that's unheard of. Well, we decided a few years ago to do that, Eric, because I decided that that's the way I would want to be treated. I don't want to make a decision based on a business that looks good, it sounds good. Maybe you've told me the truth about it, maybe you haven't. When I see the actual training that you take me through, then I'll know. And I won't know until then. So we decided to offer this, and folks, in the last 26 years, we only had a handful of people that have asked for a refund. That should tell you right there that we do what we say we're going to do and that it's that good. We know what we have, so we're willing to offer that because we just don't have a request for refunds. If it is, it's always something very personal in that person's life that something happened to them that they had to ask for a refund. Okay, so let's talk about that online training. We've mentioned it several times here, folks, and it is one-on-one with a certified instructor. That's done through this technology that we're using right here today. They will be on there with you, with or without a webcam, it doesn't matter, but you'll hear their voice. You'll be talking live to them, and it's one-on-one. Now, what that means is this is not a class. This is not a pre-recorded class or even a live class with other people. It's you and the instructor, and that's it. It's based on your schedule, so our instructor will actually get with you one-on-one once you've signed up and pick the exact dates that you want to go through the modules. There are 8 of them. They last from 60 to 90 minutes, depending on your questions and so forth. And it can be with a partner. If you have one other partner that you want to join you in the training, doesn't matter where they're located in the United States, of course, they'll be online at the same time in the live training with that instructor. So
That's
it's
right.
pretty unique, folks. It's first come, first served. And I say that because we have people all the time signing up and wanting to get their schedule worked out, and the schedule's already full. So you just have to get in there and tell your ABS rep that you want to sign up as quickly as you can, that you're serious, that you're still working on your due diligence, still putting your funding together or whatever. So let me go through the steps here now, Eric, that they want to. You see any other questions that we need to address there?
Let's go through these because I mean we're at the top of the hour. Some people might need to get back because they're in lunchtime. So let's get through these and then we'll address the last ones right here to the last.
Yeah. Okay. So number one is be sure and look over our downloadable research guide. I have one of those actually printed out here that I can show you. But folks, it's not one that we're going to mail to you. This guide is actually sent to you electronically. It's a PDF, but as you can see, it's about 50 pages of information that you won't find on our website. So be sure and ask your ABS rep. If you don't know who that rep is, that's why we have the phone number right there. You can call that right now and say, I'm not sure who my rep is. Maybe you've lost the email that invited you to the webinar or whatever. Or you can email us there. Okay, and number two, be sure and browse our YouTube channel. I mentioned this earlier before you got on, Eric. It's youtube.com/whyabs. Be sure and go out there and browse through some of our webinars, folks. We've got literally, Eric, I think there's over 300 webinars that we've recorded out there on that website. And a lot of those interviews with other licensees who've been through our training. Ask your ABS rep for an owner reference list. Yes, we actually have licensees who volunteer to take phone calls from people like yourself who are looking into it, just like they did. You might have some questions for them that you want to ask directly to somebody who's been through our training and has experienced our support and can tell you about, how we support our licensees. Then be sure and ask for a live demo. We'll go through with you one-on-one since our software doesn't come on a CD. We can't send something in the mail to you. We'll do a live demo. And Eric, you've done many of those. What do they take usually?
Absolutely.
30, yeah. Usually 30, 40 minutes, something like that, or?
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes. Yep.
Depends on the question.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a must for you to go through a live demo. No doubt.
Yeah, because I mentioned earlier that we do those live demos for your prospective clients. So wouldn't you want to see a live demo yourself to kind of see, what your prospective clients are going to see? And then again, you can ask all the questions you want, just like they can when we do that demo for you. There's no cost for those demos. That's a part of your license fee. And last but not least, lock in your first live online training session. That means get back with your ABS rep and say, look, I'm serious. Can I lock in a training date for my training? I hope we see you next week. I hope I see you on our training. Once you sign up for our training, I'm going to be calling you and talking to you personally. So be sure and get back with your ABS rep and say, hey, I'm still doing my due diligence, but let's book me for that online training.
Absolutely.
All right, Eric, thanks for Eric came up with this whole topic today and slideshow. So thank you very much for that, Eric.
You're welcome. My pleasure. And everybody, we'll see you next Wednesday. Have a good week.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I'll wrap it up here, Eric, at the end. Thank you.